Hello, pedestrians. I'm McGarren Flack, and welcome to my studio. It's a little echoey, but it's a pretty big space. What we're going to talk about today is perspective. More specifically, 1 and 2 point perspective. I'll go over the rules and laws with you. Also, I'll have an example to show you how it's done and works. And then I'm going to demonstrate how to draw a 2 point perspective scene at the end of this video. Well, not the end of this video, but somewhere in this video. Either way, the box. This is my Vanna White. It is my box. It's going to show you the difference between 1 and 2 point perspective. So let's get on with the first easy stuff. 1 point perspective. If you're looking at the flat portion of a box, there's a flat plane. It's called a plane. Flat portion of the box, then you're looking at a 1 point perspective. The rule is all vertical lines are completely vertical and all horizontal lines are completely horizontal, except for the lines that go back into space to the vanishing point. So I have a horizon line here, drawn in. You see that? Okay. The horizon line is where our eye is looking at objects. So if I have this box at the horizon line and it's at 1 point perspective, which this box currently is, you can tell because all the vertical lines are vertical and all the horizontal lines are horizontal. Beep, 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 beep. Pretty good. Now, if I shift it down below the horizon line, you can now see the top of the box and that these lines eventually go and disappear somewhere on the horizon line, like behind my head somewhere. So those lines are the ones that vanish. This is completely horizontal, this is completely horizontal, and these guys are completely vertical. If I lift it above the horizon line, you can now see the under part of the box. Same thing. If I shift it off to the right, you'll see the left side of this box, not the right, the left side. And if I shift it off to the left, I will see the right side of this box. See, right side. These lines go to the vanishing point. These are all vertical. These are all horizontal. Got it? That's 1 point perspective. 2 point perspective gets a little bit trickier. This is what happens. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, that just happened. Okay, you're looking at a corner. Whenever you look at a corner of an object, that means it's at least 2 point perspective. Could be 3 point. Maybe we'll get into that later. But this is 2 point perspective because I'm looking at a corner where two planes come together and hit each other. So you're looking at a corner of a bedroom, corner of a box. It's most likely 2 point perspective. Now the rules. All vertical lines are completely vertical in 2 point perspective. Every other line goes to one of the two vanishing points. Here's my example. Have the box. You're looking at a corner. It's completely vertical. Same with the edges. These other corners, completely vertical. All of the lines that describe the depth of this plane go off to the right. All of the lines, the top and the bottom of this box that go off to the left side eventually go to the left vanishing point. So you can see that this distance is smaller than that distance. All vertical lines are completely vertical. Every other line goes to one of the two vanishing points. Here's an example below the horizon. Look at that, fancy. And above the horizon, we can look underneath it. If I shift a 2 point perspective off to the side, you can see that you'll see more of this left side of the box than the right side. And if I shift it off to the left side, you can see there's less of the left side and more of the right side that we're seeing because of that shift. If I put it right in the middle, you're going to see a good division, 50-50 on both sides. I hope that clears it up. The difference between 1 and 2 point perspective. So what is this? I didn't hear you. It should be 1 point perspective. And what is this? 2 point perspective. Good work. Pretty simple stuff, right? Now I'm going to demonstrate how to draw a 2 point perspective scene with a bunch of lines. I hope you enjoy it. And please leave some feedback down below. I love hearing feedback. Good, bad, whatever. Just give me something. Okay, enjoyed the video. So working on this perspective drawing, I want to have the horizon line lower because I want to look at my object or scene that I'm going to be drawing kind of eye level. If I make the horizon line high, then that means that I would be looking at like the second story at eye level, which I don't want to have. So I want to be looking kind of up, even though this is 2-point perspective. I'm going to try to make my horizon line as flat as I possibly can. So there are my vanishing points. Now I'm going to draw a large cube. So I'll look at this plane a little bit more compared to this plane. Notice my line is going to that vanishing point, that vanishing point. All of my other lines are going to be completely vertical. So now you can see I have a plane that's going this direction and a plane that is going this direction. All of these lines are going to the left vanishing point, all of my right lines are going to my right vanishing point, and this is my corner. So I'm gonna create a box, and then I want to repeat that box shape because I'm gonna do various designs in it. So here I have my box. I have my back plane here that's going to the left, and my back plane here that's going to the right, my front plane that's going to the right, and my front plane that's going to the left. Now I'm going to make an intricate design in this. So I want to find where the center of this box is, and then divide that up into another shape. So I'll do X marks the spot. And draw a plumb line because that's my center. Now I'm going to repeat the X marks the spot to find this. So I'm dividing it up into quarters or fourths. So now this whole edge is divided up into 4 equal parts going back into perspective. Here's one length, here's another length, here's another length, and there's the other length. I'll just do 4 archways coming down the side. I need to create a width for each archway. So I'm just gonna randomly select a point that's like that and create an archway. Then I lined it up with the second division line, so I'll do the same thing with this part. So here I'm going to draw a vertical line. I know that this needs to be wider than that because it's closer to the viewer. So if I get that same angle, all right, so now I have the separation between these 4 guys and supporting wall. So now I'm going to create an ellipse in each one of these rectangles. So I'm going to cut them in half, and I can just take whatever this distance is here vertically and cut it in half. So it's 2 3/4. So right about there would be my halfway point. Now I'm going to create X marks the spot to find out what that ellipse for the archway is.
So the ellipse is gonna hit here, here, and here for the archway. And then it needs to go 2/3 this way. Just outside 2/3. Just outside 2/3. So now I have these 4 windowed archways. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will refine the archways so that they look better later on, but right now that tends to make sense. Now I'm going to create a depth because the windows are not flush with the plane of the building. They're kind of stuck back in. So I need to figure out how deep I want to make those. So I'll go from this point going back to the vanishing point so that I can create a depth. Once I know the depth of this one, I can apply it to all of them. So I'm just gonna say it goes about that deep. Okay, so now that I know that this point, this plane here to the left goes deep, I need to apply it to all the rest of these. So we'll just take this same thing, the same line here, and follow that curve, almost like you have an ellipse that is sitting back here. I'm going to refine this because I'm going to see this part of the window seal going back into space. I'm going to do that with all of these shapes. Now I'm going to create a ledge that will sit here for the windows. So this ledge needs to come further out, kind of like that. So it goes back into space here. So it looks like it's a ledge that goes around the whole entire building. Okay, now I'm going to make windows up here in the top. So there's a window, and then the arches. And then I need to make a doorway. So let's make this doorway kind of big. So it's a pretty small building, like 12-foot high building or something. But I'll make a nice big doorway with stairs coming up to it. There we go. So to create my stairs, I want to figure out where my slope is going to be. And slope points are directly above the vanishing point. So I will create that. All right, so looking at this, it looks like it's going to be too high of a slope. I want to make it a lower slope. So I will come down here and redo that because that looks too steep to me. Now I'm going to create my verticals. Which will be about that tall. And do my first rise. And then I just do a vertical line here. So that's the rise of the stair, and then I need to figure out the run. If I just go from this point, I can go to the run, and I'm just going to build it on the front part here. So let's have, because I know this is the width of my stairs, I'm going to do a vertical line here so I know where I'm ending. So there are my rises and runs on this side, then I have to create it on the other side. So I'm going to draw all of these lines to this vanishing point to figure out where my rise and my runs are, and then finish it up on the edge, the back edge of the stairs. Okay, now I'm going to create a circle window here and a circle window here. And before I do that, I need to put a square that's going to be smaller in this square so that it doesn't go all the way to the edges. Looks like it has support on the buildings. Okay, now I'm just gonna make a vertical pillar that will go on both sides here.
I think this is a pretty good finished version of it. The main thing to understand with perspective points is that it is used as a guide to help you understand that whatever line is behind another line is going to be smaller as it goes further away in space. So make sure that all of your lines, like this line is shorter in the back than it is here towards the front or closer to the viewer. And if you just understand the elements of perspective and how to effectively draw those, you could actually do this whole entire thing freehand. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, just reach out and ask.